Hi, and welcome to the Bookish Stitcher podcast. My name is Jeanette. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram and Goodreads as Bookish Stitcher, all one word. I hope you guys have had a wonderful week since I last podcasted. It has been an amazing and blessed and wonderful weekend for me. It's been full of joyful happiness. Friday night, I had a friend that I had met at a previous knitting retreat come into town. She was visiting family and was going to be close by, so she asked, would we want to have dinner or something? And so I said yes. And so my friend Bonnie, who is classical cat, and her husband and my husband and I all went for a double date. My mom watched the kids, so it was really nice. My husband and I got to go out and have a date, which doesn't happen often, and it was wonderful. We went to a great restaurant and had some good food, and just Bonnie is one of those people who, as soon as I met her, it felt like I'd known her for forever, and I was just so glad to get to see her. She's so laid back, and I'm laid back too, so it's just great to be around people that are just really chill and like to just hang out and talk, and it was so wonderful to hang out with her and her husband. And my husband saying, goes, are all knitters' husbands just so cool? Everyone I've met, they're just so cool. And I said, yes, that's because all knitters are so cool. But she brought me a gift, and I wanted to show it because it's magical, because it is unicorn tails. Can you see? And she kind of maybe knows my colors, maybe a tiny bit. But she brought me, there's purple and blue and green and a darker green, and these are from Madeline Tosh. She got to go to the Madeline Tosh store, and she brought these back. So they're just gorgeous, and it's really motivated me to put them into my sock yarn scrap blanket that I only rarely work on, but I'm going to work on it now because I have such beautiful things to knit into it. And then after we had dinner with them, we came home, and then Saturday morning I had been planning to drive up to Austin, to North Austin. It's about an hour and a half drive, to hang out with friends who were having a thing at the Whole Foods there. And sorry, I need some water. I went to hang out with Heidi, who is Knitty Girl 1, and Elizabeth, who is Dark Matter Knits. And it was wonderful. The drive up there was kind of rainy, but I had planned out podcasts to listen to while I was going, and I had TED Radio Hour. If you like TED Talks, TED Radio Hour is wonderful because they mash different TED Talks that have a similar, they find themes, and they mash different parts of different TED Talks together into an hour on a similar theme. So I listened to TED Talks, and I also listened to the Prairie Girls, who do an audio podcast on knitting, and they're hilarious. I loved listening to them before I was going to go hang out with friends because I was just smiling and laughing the entire time listening to their podcast. So I was just in a great mood when I went up to go meet my friends. So it was a great drive and great getting to hang out. So we went there and hung out at Whole Foods, and then after that, went to lunch at an Asian place and had yummy food, and then went to a yarn store and I got something there, and I just had the best time hanging out with them. They're laid back, they're intelligent, and they're hilarious, and we had great conversation. And Elizabeth was working on one of her new designs, and it's so, I can't wait to knit it. As soon as it comes out, I'm going to get the book and knit it because I think I'm going to knit one for everyone in my family. It's that good of a design. I'm really, really excited about it. I have to wait a little while, but I'm ready for when she gets finished and it's all set up. And then came back after hanging out and spending the whole day in Austin, listened to more TED Talks on the way home. And then today I'm recording a little bit later than normal because my best friend from high school came in. She doesn't live too far away. She lives in Houston. So she came in for today, or for the weekend, because it's Memorial Day weekend, so it's 3 days. So she came in for the weekend, and we had lunch together, and then went to Starbucks and sat and laughed our heads off, as you do with people that you've known for. I've known her for over a decade. We've been best friends for over a decade, and the thing that I love about that is there's so much history. So we've just known each other for so long that no matter how long it's been since we've talked, no time has passed, and it's just wonderful. I love hanging out with her, and it feels like we've known each other our entire lives when we have almost half our lives. But it was great getting to hang out with her. And then now I'm hanging out with you, and I have some knitting to show you because this is a knitting podcast. But I had one finished object I wanted to show you this week, and it is my Miss Winkle shawl. And this was gifted to me by the Nightly Knitter for my birthday, this pattern. It's so long, and this is out of some Marigold Jen. It's very, very pretty and very, very long. It keeps going. And there's the end. So I am definitely keeping this for myself. A lot of times when I knit a shawl, I will put it into a gift pile, and I love to just give shawls to people. If there's a going away party, somebody's moving or something like that, I will give presents with this one I'm keeping. I really love it. And it was in my Stitch by Sasha bag. And then I just wanted to show you, because I don't have a ton of time today since I'm recording later and everything in the day. I wanted to show you 2 of my whips that I worked on that got lots of love and I've just been really loving this week. And this one is in a new bag. I had to have this bag. It was kind of a thing of where I was scrolling through Instagram, I saw this bag, I dropped the phone and literally ran through the house to where the computer was to check on Etsy to see if this bag was still available, and it was. And this is my favorite fabric on a bag ever. The Rista 1313 Susan Girl Cave bag, she gets me. My husband's like, oh yeah, that bag had to be yours. So this is from Girl Cave Bags, and I love it. That. And you can kind of see a hole in there, and it's just like Tim Burton meets folk art meets Coraline, and I love it. It's so pretty. It's dainty, but it's also kind of odd. So that's kind of why I like it. But inside here, I am using one of my 15 oldest skeins. Yay! This is some Zauberball Crazy. And I meant to put the tag in, but since I was running late on recording, I forgot to do that. I will show you guys next week. And it's on my signature. This was my Mother's Day cast on. And this is my signature needles. This is what the Zauberball Crazy looks like. It's just really fun, and it's a 2-ply. So these socks might not hold up for forever, but that's okay. And I'm just knitting very simple. It's an adaptation of the Blueberry Waffle sock because this is fingering weight, and the Blueberry Waffle sock was designed for DK. So I just adjusted my stitch count, and I'm on the gusset decreases. You can kind of see. I think it's really pretty. I almost thought about omitting this darker part of the yarn, but then I didn't want to manage the color that much because I didn't want to have to sew in more ends and such. It's so fun, and I really enjoy a mindless knit like this. I was looking for a patterned sock, but not too patterned, something that I could just kind of get in the groove of. And I had already done the Hermione's Everyday sock, and I know that's a really popular one. So I wanted something other than that. And I saw the Blueberry Waffle socks, and I know that a lot of people have knit them recently, so I cast on those. If you know of any other textured socks that you love to knit the patterns, I would love for you to let me know in this week's show episode thread, because I'm always on the hunt for good things that go well with variegated yarn and just give it a little bit of a texture. The next thing is a new cast on, and this is in my Tangerine Designs bag. If you can see that. And it's just Steampunk Octopi. And I am using some Fiber Addiction yarn. And this is in the Neverland colorway. And it's so pretty. I'm loving these yarns that from far away, it kind of looks just green. But then when you get up close, you can see there's purple and blue and green and undyed bits. The undyed bits look really pretty. And this is so soft. It's a merino cashmere nylon. And the pattern that I am knitting, I had this for knitting on Saturday in Austin because it's really easy. And I only managed to mess it up once. So that was very happy. I can mess up anything unless it's stockinette. I'll probably stockinette too if I'm in a group. This is the Father Time Cowl by Steven, who does Leading Men Fiber Arts, and it's so pretty. I'm doing this as part of a cowl for the retreat I'm going to this summer, and I'm just enjoying it. It's over halfway done, so that'll definitely be done really soon. I did work on my sweater and stuff like that, but I didn't bring it down to show just because I'm short on time. So now let's talk about group news and enabling. I didn't bring a lot of stuff to show you guys because I just don't have time, but I did want to show this one thing that I got at the yarn store. The one we went to on Saturday was the Happy You, I believe, and they sell my friend Heidi's yarn. She dyes the undead yarn. I just had to get this. Isn't that so pretty? It's creams and like a lilac, and then a dusty or purpley rose. It's really, really pretty, and it's a BFL. And we may have an Undead Yarn prize for our new cowl, which is coming up, which I'll talk about in a second. The other thing I wanted to show really quickly was Angela, who is Ange in the East, sent me, she saw that I was doing cross-stitching, so she sent me some cross-stitching things. And she sent one for me to keep and then one for you guys. And this is the one I'm going to keep, and there will be no surprises because it's what? Hot air balloons. You guys know I love whimsical. It just stirs something in my heart of joy and happiness. And that's the one I'm going to keep, and it has all the thread, everything that you need to do it. And then the one that she sent for you guys is this one. And so I'm not sure what I'm going to do for this. Maybe, let's see, just comment in the episode thread for this episode, and if you would like to be entered for this, just in your comments say I would like to be entered for the cross stitch, and then I will just take all the names of people who said that they would be interested in winning the cross stitch and put them in a hat and draw or do random number generator. I'll figure out some way for that. But you can comment on the episode thread with other things. You just, if you want for the cross stitch, make sure you say that you do. But that's what it looks like again. Again, it's a kit, it has everything you need. I don't think it has a needle, but I think it has everything else. And then to talk about really quickly the new cowl that we're going to be doing, or crochet along, it can be either one. But we're finishing up, this is the last week for 2 cowls that are going on in the group. And the group is BookishStitcher Podcast, BookishStitcher, all one word, podcast on Ravelry. And you can go there and check out the information about the cowls that are currently going. I'm not going to go into them a lot because I talked about them before. But the new cowl that we have coming up, and I want you guys to get excited because I'm excited, we're going to be doing, for June and July, fingering weight yarn. Yay! If I had special skills, I'd do like confetti or some type of music. But I have so much fingering weight yarn, and I think, okay, if I have so much, then maybe some of you guys do. And I would like to knit with it. So let's do a cowl for June and July. And I know in most like parts of the US, it's hotter here in the summer. I know some of you guys are going into cooler parts, but then you can knit yourself wool socks for winter. But it's nice to knit with fingering weight for me in the summer because Texas is hot. So for this cowl, we have some prizes, and they're amazing prizes that have been coming in that some people have generously donated and some that I've picked up, and I'm really excited for it. To kick off the cowl, we're going to have a giveaway this week, and I will draw for it so that you can get it, and if you want to have it in time to use for the knit along, crochet along. But what I'm doing for the giveaway for the beginning is some Blue Ridge yarns, and this is in their sock yarn, and it has a skein for your socks and then a skein for heels and toes. And I think that'll be fun. So what we're going to do for this is go to the Ravelry group, and you have to be a group member, as it is for all of the giveaways, and just post with your favorite thing to knit with fingering weight yarn. It can be anything that you want. You could do socks for the knit along, you can do something to go around your neck, you can do double dipping with double, triple dip, dip in everything, all the dipping all the time. And so you can enter for winning that this week. I'll have that all up today. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a chatter thread for the cowl and put what fingering weight sock yarn that you would like to use up in the next 2 months. Put what are your favorite patterns, so kind of enable us all with patterns to knit. I would really, really love to know some variegated patterns that you like to do with sock yarn, fingering weight yarn, because that's a lot of what I bought in the beginning, and I'm trying to use up my older skeins. And that Father Time cowl is a great one to do with variegated. So what I'm going to do with that is open up that chatter thread and just chat away, and then next week, as well as drawing for this, I will draw for somebody to get a pattern of their choice from the chatter thread. It's going to be a separate thread, to wear any fingering weight pattern of your choice for $7 or less. So I'm excited for the cowl, and I hope you guys are too, and use up some of that fingering weight in our stash and bring that stash down so we can get more. That is everything I have with that. Now it's time for the book this week. I picked a book that has a lot of special meaning to me because I am a history English major. I've always loved history and English and teaching history and English. But I always loved learning the history of other countries, as you can probably guess. But I felt like I'd had so much American history in school that it never really interested me to learn more about it or read more books about it when I had become older. And this author changed that. This author made me interested in American history, and his writing style is so amazing. So this. And people who read history will have heard of him. Hampton Sides, an epic of the American West, Blood and Thunder. And this book is so good, and I think it's especially good for people who don't maybe have a lot of time and want to read just little snippets. The chapters are broken up into very small parts, so if you just have a couple minutes to read, you can pick up and read a chapter. I don't know if any of you are like me, but I have a compulsion to get to the end of the chapter, and sometimes that will stop me from reading. If I know I don't have enough time and the chapter is 50 pages or 30 pages, I just won't pick up the book. So this had a lot of small chapters in it that really helped me to be able to break it down and read it quickly. But the thing that this story is about is, sorry, Kit Carson, and he was a legendary figure of the American West. And it's funny because when we think of him as maybe this really rough and tough guy who was very strong, but he was actually a very small in stature man who was very shy. He was rough in the sense of he was very tough and could take a lot, but he also was very cautious and just very wise. He knew when to go into things and when not to, and it kind of just deals with his life and the exploration of the American West. It's a lot about Kit Carson, and I just really loved him and his story. It's so amazing, all the things that he did, and just, you have to admire people that they're humble and they're kind when the world around them is trying to get them to be this larger-than-life figure. He could have easily decided to jump onto the fame and be like, yeah, I'm famous, but he always kept himself very centered with his family and just very humble, and I loved this book. So I think if you have never tried reading history books before, you might like Hampton Sides. It does kind of read like a novel. This is coming from the person, though, who reads old history textbooks for fun. I have a history textbook of Russia from the 1970s that I will read for fun. So I may not be the best judge of that, but I feel like it's definitely readable like a novel. So if you like history and you like the American West, or if you like stories about people that are just very heartwarming and very interesting, I would definitely recommend Blood and Thunder by Hampton Sides. So that is everything I have, my little time space that I have this week. I will be back next week with announcing the end of the cows and all the different stuff, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys next week. So I hope you have a wonderful week ahead and that you get to do all the things you love. Okay, bye.